If there's one name that truly carries the weight and glory of bodybuilding's golden era, it's Tom Platz. Known by his nicknames the Golden Eagle and Quadzilla, he became a living legend both on and off the stage. Not just because of his insane physique, but for an almost mystical intensity that turned every workout into a show. His presence commanded respect, and his legs, massive, sculpted, and unmatched, became an eternal symbol of total dedication to the iron. But what made Tom Platz so different from everyone else? It wasn't just blessed genetics, it was the mindset behind his training. For him, bodybuilding was more than physical strength. It was a ritual, an act of complete surrender. Platz believed that real transformation started in the mind, and the body was simply a reflection of discipline. That philosophy earned him a level of respect few athletes ever reach, even among the sport's greatest champions. And here's the wild part. Despite all that impact, Tom Platz never won the Mr. Olympia title, bodybuilding's biggest crown. Yet his name still echoes louder than most champions. That says something powerful. Trophies don't always define legends. So here's the question. What really makes someone a legend? The titles they win, or the inspiration they leave behind? That's what we're about to uncover in this video. Let's dive in. Tom Platz was born on June 26, 1955, on a military base in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. From early on, military discipline was part of his daily life, thanks to his father, a strict man, but one who loved training. Growing up in that environment of focus and determination, Tom developed a fascination with physical strength. As a kid, he watched his dad lift weights with admiration, trying to mimic every move. At age 10, he got the gift that would change his life forever, his first weight set. With it, he and his dad built a small makeshift gym in their basement. That's where they spent hours pushing iron, testing their limits, and learning the value of hard work together. But the real turning point came when Tom was 13. One day, flipping through a newsstand, he came across a copy of Muscle Builder magazine. Right then, he realized bodybuilding was more than just a hobby, it was an art form. He would later say that magazine became his bodybuilding Bible. From that moment, every workout had a purpose: to sculpt the body of his dreams and follow in the footsteps of the champions he saw on those glossy pages. Funny enough, at the start of his journey, Tom didn't even train legs. He struggled with lower back pain and believed that squats could make it worse. Back then, many doctors still claimed squats were bad for your spine. So he stuck to upper body work, never imagining that one day his legs would become his trademark and the very reason for his fame around the world. Everything changed when he moved to Detroit and started training at a gym full of Olympic lifters. There, he learned proper squat technique, and his legs exploded in size and strength. Coaches were stunned by his genetics and intensity. Before long, Tom was mastering the fundamentals of powerlifting and discovering the unreal potential of his quads. The once curious, disciplined kid had found his true path. While most bodybuilders of his time focused only on training, Tom stood out for his hunger for knowledge. He believed education was just as powerful as physical effort. So he went all in, earning a bachelor's in physiology and nutrition, a master's in sports science, and later an MBA from the University of California. This blend of mind and muscle made him a different kind of athlete, one deeply aware of what was happening inside his body, and especially inside his mind. His competitive journey began in 1973 when he entered the Mr. Adonis, his first amateur show. On that small stage, Tom felt the rush that would stay with him for life. He didn't win, but he discovered something even greater: the thrill of being judged by his effort, of seeing every drop of sweat turned into art. 5 years later, that same drive pushed him to the top, earning the IFBB Mr. Universe title in 1978. What most people don't know is that same year, Tom made one of the boldest moves of his life. He packed a suitcase, a few clothes, and just $50 in his pocket, and headed to California, the mecca of bodybuilding. His destination? The legendary Gold's Gym in Venice Beach, the holy ground where icons like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Franco Columbu, and Frank Zane trained. Picture this: a young, determined guy fresh out of college walking into one of the holiest places in bodybuilding, surrounded by the biggest names in the sport. Most people would have been intimidated, but not Tom Platz. He knew he was there for a greater purpose. Even among giants, he stood out for the insane intensity of his workouts and the raw passion he poured into every single set. That time at Gold's Gym was a turning point. Platz learned by watching, studying, and, most importantly, adapting what he saw. He realized there wasn't a one-size-fits-all formula for success. Every body responded in its own unique way. That's where he started developing his signature training style, one that would later become his trademark and completely change how people trained their legs. When Tom Platz officially entered the pro circuit, bodybuilding was in its golden era. The late 70s and early 80s were packed with legendary names, and Tom was right there among them. Over 9 years as a professional, he proved that willpower can be just as powerful as a trophy. His career wasn't defined by stacks of titles, but by something far more valuable: universal respect within the sport. His peak came in 1981, when he placed third at the Mr. Olympia, the most prestigious bodybuilding competition in the world. On that stage, Tom unveiled a physique that was almost unreal: massive legs, razor-sharp definition, and a commanding presence that mesmerized the crowd. Many fans and experts still believe he deserved an even higher placing, but Platz never complained. For him, stepping on stage was already a privilege. Losing was just another lesson. Throughout his career, Tom consistently ranked among the world's top 10, going head-to-head with heavy hitters like Frank Zane, Chris Dickerson, and Samir Banout. His performances showed he was more than just the leg legend. He was a complete athlete, technical, disciplined, and mentally unbreakable. Every time he competed, it was clear his goal wasn't just to win, it was to inspire. Among his many highlights were titles and appearances like Mr. Michigan, 1975, IFBB Mr. Universe, 1978, and multiple strong Mr. Olympia finishes in 1980, 1981, and 1982. Even as the years began to take their toll, he kept showing up on stage with the same energy and contagious smile. In 1987, he placed sixth at the Detroit Pro Invitational, and later, in 1995, already retired, he received the honorary title of Mr. America, recognizing his lifelong contribution to the sport. What truly set Platz apart on stage was his authenticity. While others chased aesthetic perfection, he aimed for something deeper: to express emotion through his physique. His posing routines were almost theatrical, filled with intensity, struggle, and triumph. The audience didn't just see muscles, they saw a story unfolding with every movement. For Tom Platz, training was never just about building muscle. It was about mind, soul, and purpose. He deeply believed the body only truly evolves when the mind learns to push past pain and exhaustion. In his own words, bodybuilding wasn't a sport of physical strength, it was a test of mental endurance. And that mindset is exactly what made him stand out from every other athlete of his generation. While most followed traditional training methods, Tom built his own, a borderline insane blend of high volume and high intensity. There was no comfort zone in his workouts. Every set was a battle, every rep a direct conversation with pain. He said real growth happened in that exact moment when your body begged you to stop, but your mind refused. That's where transformation lived, right on the edge. Platz often trained twice a day, strategically dividing muscle groups and hitting each one twice per week. That kind of frequency demanded almost superhuman recovery, yet he seemed to thrive under that pressure. It was as if intense training kept him alive, like his identity depended on that brutal routine of iron and sweat. At the center of his entire philosophy was the barbell squat, what Tom called his temple. To him, squatting was more than just an exercise, it was a spiritual experience. He said that during a squat, he could connect with something greater, feeling every muscle fiber, every emotion. It wasn't just about lifting weight, it was about complete transformation. That approach turned Tom Platz into a living symbol of intensity and total body awareness. When you talk about Tom Platz, it's impossible not to think of his legendary legs, still considered the most impressive in bodybuilding history. Measuring about 32 inches, around 81 centimeters, in circumference, his quads defied human anatomy. They were so massive and so perfectly defined they looked like they'd been carved from stone. No other athlete has ever managed to combine size, symmetry, and muscle detail quite like he did. To reach that insane level, Tom built a leg routine that became almost mythical among bodybuilders. His classic leg day included barbell squats, his all-time favorite, for 8 to 12 sets of 5 to 20 reps, often loading up a staggering 635 pounds, around 288 kilos. Then came hack squats, 5 sets of 10 to 15 reps with up to 500 pounds, 226 kilos. He followed that with leg extensions, leg curls, and calf raises, sometimes pushing more than 880 pounds, 400 kilos, on his back. But what made these workouts legendary wasn't just the weight. It was the ritual of intensity behind them. He didn't just perform the movements, he lived them. He'd go for sets of 50, 70, even 100 reps, pushing through pain most people would never endure. In one of his most famous feats, he squatted nonstop for 10 minutes with 225 pounds, 102 kilos, cranking out over 100 reps. For him, it was like a spiritual journey, a direct conversation with his own limits. His most famous showdown came in 1992 during the Great American Squat-Off, where he faced powerlifter Fred Hatfield, better known as Dr. Squat. In the Max Lift Challenge, Hatfield hit 855 pounds, 387 kilos, beating Platz's 765 pounds, 347 kilos. But when the test switched to endurance, Tom absolutely dominated. He loaded 525 pounds, 238 kilos, and cranked out 23 reps, while Hatfield managed just 11. The crowd went wild. Nobody could believe what they were seeing. That moment proved to the world that Tom Platz wasn't just strong. He was unstoppable. His muscle endurance, mental toughness, and pure love for squatting turned him into a human machine. Even decades later, no one has matched his balance of raw strength and lasting stamina. Though he was known as the man with the most outrageous legs in bodybuilding, Tom Platz never neglected the rest of his body. Quite the opposite. He trained every muscle with the same intensity and focus. Some critics said his legs were disproportionately big, but Tom saw that as the natural result of his passion, not a flaw. And even if his legs stole the spotlight, his chest, arms, and back were built with the same ferocity and discipline. One of the most unique things about his training style was how he used time as a tool. Instead of counting reps, he often trained by the clock. On pull-ups, for example, he'd hang from the bar for 20 to 25 minutes straight, switching grips and tempos. The goal wasn't just to build muscle. It was to develop endurance, focus, and mental control. It was an extreme method, and only someone with Platz's mindset could keep it up. When it came to raw power, his numbers blew people's minds. In one of his favorite moves, the incline dumbbell press, he handled 175 pounds, 79 kilos, in each hand for 6 slow, controlled reps. On deadlifts, he could pull 600 pounds, 272 kilos, for 4 reps. And on another occasion, he did 20 reps with 405 pounds, 184 kilos. Even in exercises that weren't his strongest, he treated every set as a personal battle, attacking it with his trademark spiritual intensity. Tom also believed deeply in the power of the mind over the body. He used psychological tricks to outsmart fatigue and extend his limits. One quirky example was wearing high socks during squats. He said it made his legs feel shorter, tricking his brain into thinking the movement was easier. Small mental hacks like that helped him break barriers that seemed impossible, proving how a trained mind can reshape the perception of pain. For Platz, training was a mental battlefield. During each set, his face would change, eyes locked in, heavy breathing, total focus. He believed that if your mind was truly present, your body would follow without question. To him, success didn't come from how much weight you lifted, but from the awareness behind every rep. That's where true growth happened. To Tom Platz, the perfect workout was one where you gave everything, no holding back, as if it were your last day on earth. He believed excellence didn't come from fancy programs, but from intensity and purpose. His weekly routine was simple in structure, but executed with a level of energy few could keep up with. Each session was a war between body and mind, and he always made sure to win. Tom's training split was as efficient as it was brutal. On day 1, he'd hit chest in the morning with incline presses, dumbbell flies, pec deck, and dips. At night, he'd be back in the gym, this time blasting his back with pull-ups, pull-downs, rows, and pullovers. It was the kind of dedication that made everyone around him wonder how anyone could train that hard, that often, and still keep improving nonstop. Day 2 was all about shoulders, one of the most challenging muscle groups to master. Platz hit lateral raises, Smith machine presses, and reverse flies, always focusing on control and full range of motion. He used to say shoulders were the stage of the body, the part that set your posture and projected strength before you even moved. That's why he treated shoulder day like a performance, always chasing that deep, burning sensation that meant progress. Day 3 was arm day, and this was where Tom showed off his technical mastery. His biceps routine mixed standing barbell curls, incline curls, and machine curls, paired with triceps pushdowns, close-grip bench presses, and French presses. To top it off, he threw in forearm work like wrist curls, making sure no detail was left behind. He used to say arms were the signature of your physique, and that a solid pump was worth more than 1,000 compliments. Day 4, the infamous, yet most anticipated, was leg day. This was when Tom entered his trance-like state, grinding through marathon squat sessions and endless variations until total exhaustion. He believed the legs were the true foundation of the body, and that a real athlete only became complete once they learned to embrace the pain of leg training. To him, every drop of sweat shed under the bar was a step toward immortality. Day 5 was rest day, though for Platz, rest meant preparing his body and mind to start the cycle all over again. He used the day for stretching, mental visualization, and reviewing his performance. It was that balance between body and mind that kept him evolving nonstop. For Tom, his training split wasn't just a routine, it was a lifestyle, a daily reminder that real growth happens when you give everything you've got in every set. No fear, no excuses, no limits. If Tom Platz's training was legendary, his diet followed the same philosophy of discipline and purpose. He believed the body was a performance machine, and nutrition was the fuel that kept it running at full power. Nothing was random. Every meal had a purpose: to build, repair, or prepare the body for the next battle. Behind the scenes, his diet was as meticulous as his squats. Platz followed the classic 1970s, 80s bodybuilding blueprint: high protein, small frequent meals, and tight macronutrient control. The goal was to keep his muscles constantly fed and ready for his grueling daily workouts. He often said, nutrition is the second workout of the day because it demanded the same level of focus and consistency. During the off-season, when the goal was to pack on size and mass, Tom took a more flexible approach. His meals included eggs, hamburgers, cheese, whole grain bread, and even the occasional dessert. He wasn't afraid to eat big, as long as his body was responding to training. Interestingly, he had a little forbidden pleasure. He allowed himself 1 scoop of ice cream almost every day, believing small rewards kept his mind balanced amidst the relentless discipline. When it came time for pre-contest prep, the famous cutting phase, everything changed. His diet became laser-focused and stripped down: boiled fish, potatoes, steamed vegetables, and precisely measured carbs. No indulgences, no distractions, just what was necessary to preserve muscle mass and carve out every line of definition. In this phase, Platz showed the same mental discipline he brought to training, keeping his focus locked in until showtime. His goal wasn't just to eat clean, but to fuel his body strategically, like tuning a high-performance engine. Every meal was planned around his workouts, recovery, and weekly targets. And even in an era when supplements were still limited, he made up for it with whole foods and a deep understanding of nutrition's role in performance. Tom Platz proved that a diet doesn't have to be perfect, it just needs to be consistent and intentional. He understood that the secret wasn't obsessively counting calories, but respecting your body, listening to its signals, feeding it well, and rewarding it for the daily grind. When the stage lights finally dimmed and the competitions were over, Tom Platz proved his talent went far beyond the bodybuilding spotlight. Away from Mr. Olympia and the fierce rivalries, he found a new purpose: to inspire, teach, and transform lives. He became a college professor, motivational speaker, and world-renowned coach, sharing with the world the same principles that had made him one of the most respected athletes in bodybuilding history. His mission was no longer just about lifting weights, it was about lifting people. For 15 years, Platz devoted himself to education, teaching at universities, and shaping new generations of coaches and athletes. With the same fire he showed in the gym, he taught about physiology, motivation, and human performance. His lectures were electric, emotional, intense, and deeply inspiring. Every class felt like a mental workout. He believed teaching was simply an extension of training, and that a true teacher's job was to awaken passion in others. Tom also became the director of a major fitness company in the US, helping develop training programs and motivational seminars. His name became synonymous with wisdom, strength, and authenticity. Even off the stage, he carried that same spark in his eyes, the same disciplined mindset that had taken him to the top. The only difference now was that his stage had become the entire world. To this day, Tom Platz remains a global icon of motivation, squat technique, and old-school mentality. His videos and speeches continue to flood social media, inspiring thousands of people who never even saw him compete, but can still feel the power of his words. For many, Tom Platz isn't just a legend from the past. He's a timeless symbol of limitless dedication and pure love for training. His motto, passed down through generations of bodybuilders, perfectly sums up his philosophy of life. You don't train muscles, you train the mind. The body just follows. That simple, powerful phrase captures everything Tom Platz stands for. He taught us that real strength begins in the mind, that discipline is the path to freedom, and that when you lift iron with purpose, you're not just shaping your body, you're shaping your spirit. So, after hearing the insane story of Tom Platz, it's easy to see why he's considered one of the greatest names in bodybuilding history, right? He proved that true power doesn't just live in the muscles. It's in the mind that refuses to quit. Every drop of sweat, every squat, every ounce of pain turned him into an eternal symbol of the old school, the era when training came from the soul, with no shortcuts and no excuses. Now tell me in the comments, which part of Tom Platz's story inspired you the most? Was it his brutal leg training, his life philosophy, or the way he became a legend without ever needing a trophy? I'd love to hear your thoughts, because the conversations we have here on the channel are what keep this passion for bodybuilding alive. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It really helps spread the word to more people who love the old school bodybuilding world. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes. We've got more stories of legendary athletes, classic training insights, and golden era moments that define generations. Oh, and if you want to support the channel even more, consider becoming a member. You'll be helping this project grow while joining a community that lives and breathes the true roots of bodybuilding. And hey, don't leave just yet. On the end screen, you'll see another story I know you'll love. Another incredible tale straight from bodybuilding's golden era. Click it and come with me on this journey through the past, the strength, and the passion that built the greatest physiques in history. See you in the next video. And remember, the body follows the mind. So train hard and live with purpose.